All right. Hello, my name is Yesenia de Loera, and I'm honored to welcome you to Plus One at an Amish wedding, a Q&A discussion with the producer and some of the cast. And we are so grateful to have all of this wonderful film at the 8th annual festival. And before we begin, on behalf of the Bentonville Film Festival, I would like to take the time to acknowledge Indigenous peoples that were forced to leave their ancestral lands, including the Osage, Caddo, and Quapaw nations with ties to Northwest Arkansas. We further recognize that a portion of the Trail of Tears runs through this area, and that the Cherokee, Choctaw, Muskogee, Chickasaw, and Seminole nations passed through what is now Arkansas during this forced removal. We acknowledge all Indigenous storytellers and residents in our community and region. Thank you. And now let's get starting on our Q&A. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'll go first. My name is Siobhan O'Shaughnessy, and I'm the president of American Cinema Inspires, but I'm also the producer along with Kevin and Galadriel, producers in the film Amish, Plus One at an Amish wedding. And I was blessed to have them as starring, but also as producing with me. So it was great.
I'm Galadriel Steinman, and I play April in Plus One at an Amish wedding. And as Siobhan said, I got my first opportunity to produce on this film. So it was very exciting and memorable for more than one reason.
And my name is Kevin Joy. I played Jesse in the film. And we loved working on this. And we equally were lucky to have Siobhan as our producer on this movie.
I agree.
And we shot this all in Arkansas. The whole movie was entirely shot in Mountain View, Arkansas.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's really great. I actually, one of my favorite parts was like the scenery and like showing like just raw, like just the beautifulness of, Amish country. And I didn't know about it was shot in Arkansas. That's really amazing. So just first of all, why did you want to make this film and bring light to the Amish community?
I had a contract with UpTV many years ago for 3 Amish movies. And the first one, which we shot, was called Runaway Romance, which Galadriel was in. She played the Amish lady in that one. And then they didn't do the contract, and I still had on my foreign buyers, I still had 2 more Amish movies. So the one thing they all told me, my foreign buyers, because I had pre-sold it, was that it could be Amish, but it couldn't be totally Amish. They wanted to be more Englisher. And so I'm sitting there thinking of all these ideas. And the second one was after Runaway Romance, which Galadriel starred in, which goes From the Heart, was just trying to think of how can I get an English girl to be in Amish town and not have it about that. And came up with a girl, she was traveling and she was born Amish, but she left. And then it's the next one. Okay, now I got the third one. Okay, how do I come up with a third one? Going through ideas, we were thinking of babies switching and so forth, and that didn't work. And then I finally was watching a movie like A Royal Family, and the girl was dating a guy and didn't find out. And I said, I can take that same idea and let's make it Amish. So that's how it all came about, because it was like every girl goes to see a new parents and there's always some problem. And I thought the Amish could make it as a fun way.
Yeah.
And we had like Siobhan was saying, we had worked on From the Heart before, an Amish film, and obviously we love working with Siobhan. So we were happy to work on this again. And I think one of the appeals to me about the Amish films is that it touches on kind of a period piece too. Without being a period piece, you get to have a lot of fun with the costumes and kind of the world without technology and everything that you get to live in within that realm, while mixing kind of our current world in that too. So it's a fun realm to kind of play in there and stuff.
Yeah, and thanks to Siobhan, I consider myself kind of an armchair Amish expert now. Because, I've done many different types of Amish, and I take my homework seriously. So I've, really tried to do enough research to respect the culture and educate myself. And it was fun because this time was the first time we were looking at the script. I'd be like, oh no, actually, I don't I don't know that, I don't think the Amish would do that. And like going in and like comparing all of our notes, you know, so it's been a really cool, different world to get immersed in.
And my foreign buyers as well as the United States, it's kind of like a little house in the prairie,
Mhm.
like today, you know, so you have the nice, calming family values that you get, but mixing it with modern society.
Yeah.
So that's why they all liked it too.
Yeah. So you were saying, Galadriel, that you had a research on how like the Amish lifestyle is. Did you guys have like a team that did like more research, or was it just like kind of like the cast and like producers?
It was kind of a grassroots operation. Although I did take it upon myself this time to make a pronunciation key for the cast so that would be consistent. So I researched the words that were said, the Pennsylvania Dutch. And you know, the first Amish movie I worked with Siobhan on, we were lucky in that our animal handler was formerly Amish. And so it was nice to be able to actually talk to someone who had lived it, and not just because other than that, it was like, you know, the American Experience documentaries. They even have the Idiot's Guide to the Amish, which I own, and lots of, you know, books and websites and things. I mean, thanks to the internet, it's like you can tap into so many communities, except for the Amish. So you're kind of limited to those who were Amish. But, you know, there's not only obviously in the United States, big Amish community, but a big Amish fan base and lots of people who study it and enjoy it in the books and in the movies, and they will call you out. So, you know, you want to make sure and get it right, even if the Amish aren't actually going to be watching these movies, you know.
But even when it came to the wedding part, remember Galadriel?
Mm-hmm.
The way an Amish do the wedding scenes and we do weddings are totally different. I mean, when we look, all the people are facing forward to the minister, and the couple come down the aisle together, and the families exchange. The Amish, they're looking at each other. So the men are on one side and the women are on the other, because they're basically supposed to be looking at their partners or the love interest to form, and it's more about them and not the couple. The couple is just doing it with the minister, but they don't really watch, and they go in single file to up front. So it would be the guy first, or the witness guy first, and then the guy, woman witness, and the groom. And then same thing for the bride.
That was one of my favorite days of filming too, because we had so many background actors, and it really felt like we were in an Amish community. We had so many people in Amish wardrobe. Yeah, and then having the wedding and McGann's beautiful barn and everything like that was just fantastic. And it was just a really fun day to be on set with everybody and really feel like we were part of the Amish community.
And you know, my character wasn't at the actual wedding, so I got to stand by in my t-shirt and jeans like, wow, look at them, they look so great. It was so fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene, and it was like one of the, I think it was Rachel who was wondering about like how like English weddings are. It was kind of like, oh wow, it's like she's thinking what I'm thinking, but vice versa. Like how is it done? And like I really like to see like just the differences, and everyone did a really great job, and like just bringing that to life.
Yeah, the character of Rachel, I thought, was a really nice addition to the story. You know, now feeling like a veteran of Amish movies, hearing it from a teenage point of view at the age where they are getting into Taylor Swift and, you know, fashion and all that, and like just imagining what that might be like, you know. And Mercedes, who played Rachel, was just fantastic in that role. It was really fun to just watch her make that her own.
So
And I like the mean mother-in-law, Galadriel, the one who was just so mean to you.
Yeah, Tamil, I mean, just the sweetest, warmest woman, but a really good actress, which means, you know,
Did a good job.
real terror when she threw down. Immaculate. I mean, her performance just took up the whole room, you know.
But that arc at the end when she comes there to see you, ooh.
Yeah.
It was
That,
definitely.
and then the scene with him on the porch when she's talking to him at the end. It's just, maybe that's where I started crying, I think.
Yes, sir, I did. I started there too.
Mhm.
The ending is definitely satisfying. It just wrapping it up, like, like finally like acceptance. But speaking about the characters, for each of y'all, which character dynamic would you relate to the most, or we're looking forward to filming at least?
I mean, all of the family interactions I really, really loved. The first day, my first day on set actually was the first day that we get to my mother's house and meet my brother and my sister, meet the family and everything like that. It was a really fun day because it felt like, first day set, you're always thrown in, you're getting to know everybody, getting comfortable on set. And it was fun to hop straight into the family dynamic with Travis and with Mercedes and with Pamela and have all those interactions and kind of establish what those relationships are like between the characters and between the actors for the first day on set. I mean, besides, of course, all my scenes with you.
We've been married for a really long time also, if you can't tell,
Right. But all my favorite stuff was really just the family interactions that we had because it was so much fun and there was so much just playfulness and warmth, but then of course all the serious tones that we have with my mother and with Pamela. If I had to choose, I loved, just because Pamela and I had so much fun too, and we got more nitty gritty than obviously I am with my brother and sister in the film. Those scenes were just a lot of fun to film because Pamela is a wonderful person and an amazing actress. So just to get to hop on set with that and just know, like, I never quite knew what she was going to bring or what she was going to hit me with. Was really fun to play within that realm.
Well, and what he didn't mention was that first day that he was talking about, he was coming from another movie and he flew in and I think he slept for like 2 hours that night or something. And he's like, I feel a little delirious. And I was like, and he's like, don't worry, I learned everything days ago. And I'm like, great. But then to see just how immediately he had the chemistry with the siblings, especially because that was the first thing, was that outside stuff. I still remember that. And I was like, phew, because they just all really like clicked. It was really fun to watch there. Yeah,
they made it easy. I had an overnight shoot the night before, and then immediately flew from that to set to Arkansas and time change and then get again. And but all of them made it so easy for me, even in my delirious mind, to just hop in and feel right at home. So it's great.
I think my favorite was your one who played your sister. I thought she was incredible. Mercedes.
Yeah. She was so great.
It made it seem more together, that everybody could, like you said, that everybody's asking the same kind of questions. We're thinking we're talking about the Amish, but the Amish are talking about us. So she made you feel, and that it wasn't just you having the problem with the mom. She had the problem with the mom. She stood up for you, and that, there comes a time where you got to just stand up and then go forward and move as a family. And forgiveness is one of the main things. You just have to say, I messed up and let's move forward as a family.
Well, it's nice to see a character that, struggles with it and decides the Amish life is not for them. And then a character who struggles with it and decides the Amish life is for them. Like it's not black and white. And I thought that was a nice thing with Rachel's character. My favorite dynamic that I looked forward to the most was with my sister, Mary, who played May. It was just funny because as soon as I met her, we just like talked like we'd known each other forever. And I'm an only child. I had a lot of, pseudo sisters, I like to claim them in my life as a sorority woman. But it was just fun to have that because, for most people, acting with a sibling is not that difficult. But for me, it's always like, wow, like, I don't even know what that dynamic is like. We have 2 sons and like watching them, it's like, I could eat popcorn and just be like, oh my gosh, they sound like kids on a sitcom when they like bicker. Like, it's all just so new to me. And so it's really fun to just like meet her, and we have so much in common. And so I really enjoyed getting to explore that dynamic, which was a surprise to me because it didn't need to be there necessarily. But I had a lot of fun with her for the short amount of time that she was with us.
And I can say the whole town of Mountain View really stepped up everywhere we went. I mean, for the hospital scenes, the hospital was there to open its doors. And this is almost at the end of COVID, which I thought they were going to close up. They opened clinics for us. They did. They put a part of the hospital aside for us so that we wouldn't be disturbing. But, you know, and restaurants went out. People were opening up their homes to us. And just as you mentioned, McGann and Stan's house, the barn, I mean, literally, I don't know, I think Galadriel and Kevin, remember, I was going to places to find a barn, couldn't find a barn, couldn't find a barn. And all of a sudden I'm just going to McGann's house to have a dinner, I think. I can't remember what we were doing. And I looked at a barn, like, oh my God, this works. This is our barn. So, and they cleaned it out, they fixed it up and made it exactly what we need. I mean, these things you don't find in big cities. And oh, my favorite story is we needed to call the police because we needed to close off a road. And I remember just calling the police to tell them that we're going to be closing the road, and the guy was already there.
Yeah,
I mean, they were down, and then my car broke down because we got in some wire. They were all there helping us. I mean, in LA, you'd be sitting there for hours waiting. And for starters, it wouldn't be that day, it would be 2 or 3 days later. But they were there within 15 minutes, weren't they? I think it was like so fast.
Oh yeah,
So
and then
fast.
just there, and I kept being like, "Thank you so much," and he was like, "This is fun for me. I don't get to do this every day." And I remember, like, I was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And we got a picture, like, just in the middle of the road with the police officer who was helping us. But everybody was like that in the whole town. Every shop we went to or whatever, they'd well, and since we had worked there previously on Follow Your Heart, there were people who recognized us from that movie too. And they were like, "You were in that, what are you doing back?" And then when they didn't know, and they found out we were making another one, they were just like, "No." And so, you know, the first like morning I was there, Siobhan, you'll remember this, I was at one of the local diners, and somebody was like, "Ah, my daughter, she just loves you. She loved that first movie," and blah, blah, blah. And they came over and they were like, "We signed up to be extras, but we haven't heard anything yet," you know. And I was like, "Oh," and then they left, and I was like, "Why didn't I write down their names, like their last names?" And like, luckily they had your name, and I like found them on Facebook, like straight up, like stalked. And I was like, "Siobhan, they need to be in the movie. Like, they really want to be in the movie." And they were, you know, they were in a lot of it. And it was just so cool because it felt like, you know, all the things that you love when you're in college and you do like student films, and just the close knit, the feeling like going to summer camp, you know, we really got to have that on this movie. So that made it really, really great.
Yeah, that's what I said. The town is amazing. It's like, I feel like you always hope for summer camp on a film, but it feels like that. And besides the cast and crew being amazing, everybody in town was, everywhere we went was incredible. And how many people like helped out on set or were background actors and stuff that were just word of mouth of people coming out to, you know, help on the film and be a part of it.
I think my one problem I had was because everybody in Mountain View wear beards. You know, everybody has a beard, but they have a mustache.
Yeah.
And in the Amish, they don't have the beard. I mean, the mustaches. So I'd go up to the guys and say, would you shave off your mustache? No, my wife won't allow me. No. But thankfully there was enough of them that say, yeah, no problem. We'll go back. Don't worry. I'll shave it off. I'll be there. Don't worry. And it was mainly for that.
Amazing.
Especially in that wedding scene, there were a lot of good sports. Yeah, with like full, thick, I feel like multi-month long beard growth that shaved the mustaches and were cool with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
A lot of commitment, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys just were talking about like the good experiences about filming in that town in Arkansas. Was there anything like challenging about filming, or just any aspect of the film at all that was challenging in filming?
I'll go on my side and I'll say internet. Mountain View had a big problem of getting internet, and we had wardrobe really in one other part by the Anglers cabins, but the internet would not go and we couldn't find everybody. So I called the judge and I said, Judge, you have internet at the courthouse. I'm taking over the top part and I'm putting wardrobe and makeup up here. And he just came and gave me the keys, and that's what we did. We moved all the wardrobe to the courthouse, and makeup and wardrobe were there, and we could use it. We did evening shoots. We would They would come in and the judge didn't have any problem. Again, another thing a small town would do, but it's internet. I think my main problem in this shoot, which was hard, was internet and what's that called? The Office Depot. You all don't, there was no Office Depot nearby. So just getting office supplies was hard too.
Which is always the pros and cons, right? The cons that it's harder, but the pro, you can put the camera facing anywhere and it's beautiful and you can shoot.
You just might not be able to make a phone call, but yeah.
Don't get the extra to come, can't talk to them.
Yeah. I think my biggest challenge was the wind. It was very windy and we had a lot of outside stuff and I have a lot of hair. So there's a lot of scenes where it'd be like an emotional close up and all of a sudden I just feel it. And I'm just like, do I just keep going? And I would just like be talking and I'd be like, so that by the time it got back to me, hopefully it was down. And I remember one scene when I was leaving the house and I get in the ambulance to go, and it's a very emotional scene. And like the wind was so good on his coverage. They got like one and done, and then it turns around to me and we had to do it 2 ways because I'm watching the ambulance. So I'm looking this way and I'm crying. And every time the wind was just like, and they'd be like, we gotta do it again. We got over and over. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. And it's a nice thing about being married to your co-star. I'm like, it's still good, right? And he's like, yeah, it's great. It's great. And I'm like, he's like, I kind of wish I would have gotten more takes. And I'm like, shut up. Your first one was perfect. You didn't need more. But the wind made it a challenge in some of that. I mean, as much for us as, you know, like hair, our amazing hair and makeup. Christy would just be like off the side camera. She'd just be going, and I'd be like, oh. But you know, October's right, October?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, October's not a bad time to be there. So before, when we've been there in the summer, there were, you know, more challenges. I'm sure you know, it gets very hot and humid and muggy, but it's beautiful and perfect in October.
Yeah, weather was
Weather was perfect.
Beautiful.
We only had one day of rain, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, my other challenge was buggies. Buggies and horses, I forgot. Buggies, horses that carry buggies, because Mountain View has horses, but they're not buggies, they're for trailers or for single riders. So it was hard finding horses to be for the buggies because it's not an Amish community. So, and then I have a whole long story of a guy that I was supposed to get buggies from. His name is Bornträger. And we had agreed on 3 buggies. I was going to get them for a week, and I had it already planned up. And on Friday, before we were supposed to start shooting on Monday, and this was 3 buggies for $750 for a week. They were going to come be picked up, and we were going to take them back to him. All of a sudden, that Friday, he calls me up and goes, you know, I didn't talk to my kid. I don't know if I can do this deal. They don't want me to do this deal, and I'm panicking because again, it's Friday afternoon. We're talking lunchtime. And we're supposed to start shooting on Monday at 6 a.m. And all of a sudden he goes, I call him, I said, well, you only got 15 minutes to make a decision because he had one was his own. And I said, talk to your family and see what they say. He calls me back and says, yeah, I talked to my family. And they said, if you want that one buggy, it's going to be $15,000.
Oh my goodness.
From $750 to $15,000. And I was like, oh my God. So then I had talked to, thank goodness, I had spoken to another guy who had 2 buggies and his name was Levi. And I'm calling Levi, and I got to, and nobody's answering it, but I'm driving to him because he's only an hour outside of town. And I'm driving to Levi. I got to get these buggies because we're starting. And as I'm driving, his son answers. And I said, oh, the GPS says it's 1 hour wait. And just know I'm going to be there 1 hour. So you better have it because I'm coming to get your buggies. And then Levi calls me afterwards, like half hour away. And he goes, I got your message. We're real Amish. We don't carry our phones with you. I'm sorry. And I said, well, the GPS says I'm going to be there in 30 minutes. I'm coming for those buggies we discussed. So I ended up getting 3 buggies for $1,000 for 2 weeks. And the trailer guy was there and he was telling, oh, they're Amish, they're Hallmark movies. Oh, these are going to be great. And he's showing the video on them and they're all excited. And they say, oh, we like this lady. So it all worked out.
Oh, and I have to say, one of the great, although I don't wish you to have to go through that again, one of like the great joys on set is watching you work when stuff like that comes up. Because if we had to find buggies, I'd be like, Siobhan, I have no idea. Like, is it on Amazon, like eBay? Like, what can we do to get a buggy? But Siobhan is just over here like, don't worry, I'm gonna figure it out. I got it handled, calling people, finding buggies all across the area and stuff like that. It's like, I love that story, but it was just, even though it wasn't fun for you in the moment, it was fun to watch you work and just like wheel and deal and set this stuff up and get the buggies.
Well, and it's like, you know, I felt like we were like baby producers. And so we're just watching Siobhan like, wow, that's how you do it. Okay. All right. Let me write this down.
Boss lady.
Yeah, it was great. It felt like producer camp, just watching her like, you know, I'm like, okay. I'm literally taking notes.
You all were great. You looked at all locations, you looked at wardrobe. I mean, they were very hands-on. It was great.
It was amazing that Siobhan gave us that opportunity because, you know, I mean, at a certain stage, if people want you to do their movie, they'll just kind of throw you a producer credit, which is nice anyway, but sometimes it's really just entitled, you know, and so to like actually have her trust us with, you know, getting involved with the writing and wardrobe and casting and just like all these decisions. And she would really be like, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about that? And at first I was like, oh my gosh, she's really letting us produce. Like it was great. It was just wonderful. And all those years of being a part of projects like this, you know, all those days of like, I wish there was this. I wish, you know, more of this or this. It's like, finally we were like, oh, you know, and there was an audience for that. And so, you know, I haven't had that same experience since, but it was amazing. And it just made me realize how much I do enjoy producing. So that was great.
Yeah. And it all made a wonderful movie. Like I said before, it was very feel good and like, you know, I don't really know a lot about the Amish community at all. So it kind of like opened my mind like, oh, this is how that lifestyle is. And just your hard work really made me feel like it was a learning experience and like a feel good movie.
Well, my movies that I make, I try to make that the whole family, grandmother, and everybody can sit and watch and don't have to worry. And Disney did a long time ago, how people feel when they watch certain movies. And for example, if somebody's watching a horror movie, they're tense and they're nervous. But if you're watching CSI, like investigative, you're calm, but you're intuitive because you want to know. But if you watch an inspirational, happy movie, you got happy thoughts for 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks of happy thoughts.
And it's fun for us to get to share them with our kids, you know, although our younger son was he got a little upset because he's like, why did you leave him? I said, no, keep watching. But he really didn't let that one go. So it's good for all kids except ours, apparently. It was a little confusing, but you know, that's what you get when you grow up with 2 parents as actors. So
but same thing as actors too. It's so fun to make a movie that everybody could watch. You can share with the family, and also just acting in it. It's nice to make something that you like, makes you happy and that you feel good about. You know, it's a lot of fun being on set to make these because it is a very happy environment, and the crew I think feels that too, and everybody's kind of bonded within that we're making something that makes people feel good.
Good. All right. Well, just to wrap things up a little bit, what's next? Is there anything like any new projects in development?
You want to go first, Siobhan?
I'll go first. I'm doing a series of books. They're called from Guidepost, called the Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries that we're pitching. We're almost ready for it. And there's we start at the end of the year, we're going to do it, and we'll be selling it. But we shorten the name. It's not Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries. It's just called Sugar Creek. And it's another town in Ohio that has a whole bunch of Amish that we'll be shooting over there.
I have a project I'm about to start working on, but I can't say anything just yet. So I'll have to keep that hush for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we got a couple things. You got a couple things coming out though.
Oh yeah, I said
hello, plug your stuff, husband.
Yeah, I have a movie that came out called Double Threat that just came out. That was a blast.
Came out last week, I think.
Last week, yeah, that's right, just premiered. And then have
this is what he needs me for.
Another film in the pipeline that I think will be out in end of the year, and then a trilogy I'm doing for Passion Flicks, the second one of which is coming out in October.
Oh, very cool. Oh, and glad you're working on a Christmas movie together. Started to shoot in February.
Yes.
Called
Yeah.
A Barbarian Christmas.
So cute, so cute. I can't wait. There's so much great stuff in that. I mean, yeah, that's love. We'll have to come back and chat with you about that one because that one is so fun and so like feel good, but like all that, but then all the Christmas and in the Christmas town. Anyway, I digress. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I have a mystery called Murder Anyone that I did a lead in a couple months ago. I think it's coming out in a couple of months. I have to check on that. And then I'm supposed to be going to do a romance in Kentucky in what month is it? It's June now. At the end of the summer.
Yeah.
That's all I know. But near my hometown. So gonna go, do that. It's not a bad niche to be in.
No, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing any production because, like I said, I really love not having to worry whenever I'm watching a film or like reading a book, just, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the new things y'all are coming up with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.